That means they just played,
That's
and right afterwards they sent us the replay.
The time is 8 p.m. in California. This was the games that started playing was at 7:30 p.m. So that's pretty much how fresh you can get. And that's why we really want to protect the integrity of both of these players, and that's why we'll let you guys know. Without further ado, let's introduce our players and get started. Andre, starting in the top right, we have from Team Evil Genius's raid call, it is PuMa, who has won $80,000 from NASL alone.
Just NASL.
Just NASL alone. And PuMa actually has done pretty well across other tournaments, whether it's IEMs or DreamHacks or any other tournaments abroad. PuMa still does pretty well, even in the World Championship where he got second right after MC.
And that really shows his skill level, I think. I mean, his accomplishments are very, very illustrious. And I can't wait to see how he does here. Now, let's be honest, PuMa has been, I don't want to say struggling a little bit, but he has not been like consistent. He hasn't been like that #1 ace player that you think of as of late. If we were talking about NASL Season 1, I would definitely say, yes, PuMa is the go-to guy. He's the best Terran in the world. But right now, it's kind of hard. You know, it's been up and down. It's been up and down. And I feel like PuMa just needs to get everything together in order for him to really, I don't know, just kind of become like SeleCT, you know, on that upward trend where he can actually do something. His play has been very standard. And as you can see, he loves to play macro games, I think, although he has been known to do 1-1-1. But 14 CC coming out here. And this is not going to bode well for him, as there is a barracks in the middle of the field for SeleCT.
Yes, Proxy Marauder is a pretty common opening to see. If you talked about TVT a few months ago, it's kind of cycled out of rotation for early Marine Hellion play, even Proxy Factory here and there, or even a Proxy Starport. But Proxy Marauder is something that people have kind of figured out for a while in terms of how to defend early on. But SeleCT, if he does this again against Command Center first, it can snowball so far out of control that it'll be very, very difficult for PuMa to do anything. SeleCT also can go wait for one Marauder and go, or wait for two Marauders and have concussive shells.
That's right.
And I think now that SeleCT knows where his opponent is, this is how is PuMa going to hold off? He needs a bunker immediately on top of his ramp. That's only if he knows it's coming.
That's right, and that's the big problem. I feel like for SeleCT, in order to actually make this work, you need like a barracks really close to your opponent, and he doesn't really have the capabilities of doing that. Now, why is that? It's because it's exactly what you said. If PuMa is able to get a bunker on top of the ramp, well, all of a sudden, those Marauders are kind of useless, and they want to be actually poking up as much as possible, so you need that barracks to spot out for you. But right away, it looks like SeleCT will get one SCV. What else can he get from here? There's that bunker that goes up. SCV should be pulled immediately, and there they are. But will PuMa be able to stop this? Already one. Ooh, nice. Second SCV goes down there.
Yeah,
nice
so using the SCVs to keep the Marauders at bay is what PuMa needs. He needs to stall for time, but in the meantime, SeleCT is also setting up his own bunkers. Now, Marauders do outrange Marines, unless Marines are in a bunker and they extend their range slightly, but even then, you can kind of force your way up. PuMa also manipulating vision. SeleCT getting a little bit too antsy to move up, but his bunker is not even done yet, but nice little target shot to be able to focus down the Marines as well. And now SeleCT has 3 Marauders, which is very scary, because now they two-shot Marines.
That's right. Now let's go ahead and look at the income tab. 18 to 15, but SeleCT able to really stop you know, as many of those SCVs from mining actually for a long time. It doesn't mean that it's an overwhelming favor for PuMa right now, because we see no second command center really for SeleCT. There it is right now. It's starting, but of course PuMa already has all of the mules ready to actually start mining. So PuMa will be pretty nicely saturated, and as you can see, he's climbing up in that harvester disparity. So it's not a big deal. I think PuMa fended that off pretty well, and we have a standard game from here on out.
PuMa's also just transitioning. Sorry, not PuMa. SeleCT is also transitioning by floating his barracks to his opponent's base. He can use it to manipulate some vision. Maybe pick off an SCV or a Marine, an SCV or two, if you can get some nice vision up there.
That's absolutely right. And it looks like these Marines are going below. Now you need to be so careful. Oh, wow, he salvages the bunker. That might spell a little bit of problems for PuMa. Actually, if SeleCT knew that, which, let me just check. No, he doesn't know that. He still thinks the bunker's there. If SeleCT knew that, he would be sniping all day long. Just put the bunker like right here. Make it so difficult for PuMa to actually push out, and you just hug this line and make those Marines just back up as much as possible. It looks like PuMa is going for combat shields, and he's going to bust this right now.
Yeah, the Marines are immediately trying to go inside and stutter step forward. Select really can't hold it. Nice job there by PuMa. And the bunker does fall. Select, what does he have back at home? He's got a factory done, so he's got a tech advantage, but stim, or a combat shield rather, has been started much earlier than his opponents. So PuMa will have really good map control, at least moving his early Marines out. Select now has his expansion done, but something that I just like what PuMa is doing is that he's trying to really utilize his early barracks advantage, get combat shields, get double engineering upgrades. This kind of stuff will really help compound his mid-game aggression, because PuMa loves doing the multi-pronged drops in aggression.
That's right. But the one thing that goes for Select is that he has cross-position advantage. So yes, he's able to get all those upgrades out in time. PuMa's able to get all those upgrades out, but really it's not going to constitute too much, as Select should have a lot of preparation time for all of these units that pop out. So I think Select will be absolutely A-OK. He has the bunker up, he has Marines inside of there, and that should be a huge detractor to actually push up and go into that base. But PuMa, as we can see, getting his starport on. He is going for bio. I think bio is the way to go. Normally, the bigger the map, the more you do want to go bio. The smaller the map, you want to go mech.
Yep, and it's going to be tough for any kind of mech play to really cover lots of area unless you're super duper active with your Hellions, and even then it's a little bit of a challenge. So we see tanks immediately squeezed out here for Select as well, just to give himself a stronger defense against any kind of early aggression. No real threat at all. In fact, PuMa should, or sorry, both players eventually realize that taking a third base is extremely safe as well in this scenario. Once you get your early infrastructure established so that you can get units cranking out.
Yeah, it's interesting. PuMa's normally the one that should be taking the command center a little bit faster. Even this is a little bit delayed. The main reason why I say that is because when you have such a huge advantage in terms of, I guess, production early on, you can actually exercise that by taking map control. And he has map control over here with this Del Naga Tower. Now, the one thing I could maybe say is that he doesn't know if it's going to be bio or mech, so he's playing a little bit safer. He doesn't want to die to run-bys. But I think PuMa could have been making his command center, staying defensive a lot earlier, and it would have obviously given him a huge economic lead. It really does show you how, I guess, how much you respect Select, you know, because he's saying, okay, Select, you actually have the potential of doing a lot of counters and a lot of run-bys. I need to prepare for that, and he's just playing super, super defensive in this game. Of course, it doesn't pay dividends this time around, but I think it's an overall very, very strong way to play this matchup.
Select now starting to his own third command center, but it's a little bit delayed, just like you were saying, Andre. It's nice that PuMa has map control, just because of how many more units he should have. 29 Marines to 13. The tanks do provide some kind of wild card effect, like if the tanks can get shots, those Marine advantages was very nil, but then you can see things like Select is very open in his main. In fact, almost everything is jumbled up, and the tanks in low numbers can't cover that much space. So if PuMa is able to get into a nice spot, sweet spot, maybe drop the main, force siege tanks to unsiege, and hit the natural, then all of a sudden things can get very much in favor of our Evil Genius's Terran.
That's right. We'll see what happens. Oh, look at this.
Nice
PuMa.
catch. Very nice catch.
Yeah, this is beautifully done. That's the power of actually having eyes on the map, which of course could be anything. Supply depots, SCVs, Marines. It's really, really important that you have that, because in the small chance that you do actually see a medevac drop coming, you're able to prepare a lot better. From here, I mean, very standard play. Both these players are going to be probably more barrack-centric rather than switching over to a high factory count. The main reason for that is because of mobility. You want to be as mobile as possible. But we're going to see what does Select actually do with this army over here, because it is a little bit risky knowing that your opponent knows that you're coming. There could be a lot of ample preparations, but there it is. Select with his classic micro going to get out with the medevac alive. Well done.
Yeah, I think he's also just trying to bait the water, see if the third base is up, and it is. So Select, it gets this little effect, because if you don't have time to see his worker saturation, his minerals, you're like, how long have he has that third base for? You know, how far am I behind, if you're behind at all? And it starts putting you a little bit discomfort. So Select getting a sense where, okay, well, since his third base is up, that means I should be able to have a safe third base, and he really does when you have siege tanks out. PuMa now starting to switch into siege tank, but his upgrades are so far ahead. Look at that, 2-2 will finish before Select will even have +1 armor on his bio.
We can see how defensive PuMa has been playing all match long. I mean, and now he's finally pushing out once, as you said, he knows he has 2-2. He has a big advantage over his opponent, and he's going to try to make something work, although Select has defensive siege tanks, and anything can happen. This is going to be sort of a position war, and this single sensor tower actually helps him out so incredibly much, Froden. Now he doesn't have to waste scans worrying, where should I actually position my units? Oh no, he's going around the other side. No, that doesn't have to be a factor anymore. He's just going to go ahead, place his siege tanks perfectly, and it denies Select completely.
Yeah. Well, denies PuMa, rather.
That's what I meant, yeah.
PuMa can't really move into this 4 siege tank, but he's in range of the sensor tower. Oh my goodness, that's a great pickoff for PuMa. And all of a sudden, the vision here has been completely restricted. Select a little bit in the dark. How many scans do both players have? A few each. Select also scanning his opponent. But I think in this scenario, it's very risky. As long as you can catch him on siege, PuMa picking a perfect time to move up, but Select has a better concave, but it may not matter because the upgrades are so significant. Without those tanks, these Marines are very much empowered. And PuMa backs off, but that was a great pickoff, spontaneous decision-making, knows his opponent's on siege, moves up, and with a couple seconds, swings the supply so far in his favor, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's all it takes sometimes, Frodan. I mean, that tiny little... second to actually catch those siege tanks off guard, and that actually represents a ton of DPS. Whether it's 1 round of siege tank shots or 2 rounds can actually make all the difference. And look at this. Oh my god, PuMa not attacking to the best position. And there you have it. That's the perfect example. Just opposite ways. Select able to fend that off pretty nicely. But you know what? Select's macro actually coming to bite him this game. You can see he's all the way up at 1,200 minerals, which obviously is not looking too good for him. Now losing a lot of position, and now this 6th refinery, that's not a good thing because that actually means it's going to cut into not only his upgrades, but also his siege tank count.
Yeah, PuMa has been kind of slow with his 3-3, though. Select actually started 3+3 way earlier than PuMa did. So he'll have that, but PuMa just has so much more control because now part of the economy of Select has been denied while PuMa's taking his 4th base and is looking very strong. Select, just like you said, has been adding on a lot of production facilities, but the most important thing is, does he have an answer to the siege tanks? He's going to move forward and try to see if he can take out a couple. He gets 2 of them, but still, it's kind of a costly trade because he doesn't have as much freedom in mineral-wise. Still continues to scan. PuMa's just diving the opponent because he realizes his Select doesn't really have anything. He's going to take out a couple of tanks.
No, he doesn't take out any of them. Wow. This single SEV has been repairing those siege tanks. Really nicely done. But look at how many units there are, Frodan. This is PuMa's macro, and he's just going to crush on through. Nothing Select can do. Losing the 3rd base is a crippling blow. GG. Gets called out. PuMa takes the 1st game.
PuMa is just disgustingly good at TVT, and that positional war just goes to show you a good example of that. PuMa is great. I remember his series against Alive. It's just, it doesn't even matter necessarily about maybe early game advantage. PuMa did have the advantage after early game, make no doubt. But it's how he's able to carry his advantage in tactics, because the best TVT players realize, I can't kill him yet. But then when they realize there's an opening, they take it completely and open it so far wide. Look at how much the supply was different. It was maybe like 150 to like 140-ish, and all of a sudden it was 180 to 120. Yeah. And that kind of like separation and being able to press it is awesome to watch.
Yeah, it felt like PuMa was just skinning Select slowly and slowly and slowly, and all of a sudden he sees the flesh, he goes for it, the vital organs just get ruptured, and PuMa takes like a huge, monstrous advantage in that game. I mean, normally you can't push up on positions like that, but PuMa had outstanding position. Like, how silly does that sound? I have siege tanks and Marines. My opponent has siege tanks and Marines. Yeah, I started siege tanks later, but I'm attacking into a position.
With a sensor tower.
Yeah, with a sensor tower. How many times does that make sense when you're playing a TVT? Probably 0 times, but it's PuMa we're talking about. Yes, Select is world-class, but PuMa has just displayed how good he is.
Tactical decisions lead to a strong game number 1.
Yes, sir.
Guys, thank you so much to Azo Monitors for providing the best in modern technology. We love Azo. They love us. You guys should show them some love as well. Azo.com. We'll be back with game number 2 between PuMa versus Select. We'll find out what happens after this break. Don't go anywhere. More TVT action when we return.